What is up, everybody? Laura here with Toad's Lures. Today we are in the laboratory making one of my favorites, the core shot. So stick around and hang out with us. We're going to get this Plastisol in the microwave and get it heated up to temp. Stay tuned. Couple of things I want to go over real fast. First, you're going to want a good pair of heat-resistant gloves. These are a great tool as this stuff does get over 350 degrees. Second, a respirator. This stuff does put off a toxic fume when it is melted, so I highly, highly, highly recommend a good respirator. We're going to go over some glitters here real quick. First up is a .008 hex cut. This is from Lureworks. This is black. We're going to be using just a small amount of this. Second is a .035 square cut, also from Lureworks in the black. This is one of my favorites. Like I said, we're going to use a very small amount of that .008. So let's go ahead and get this mixed in. I'm going to be using a 1/4 teaspoon for the .035. And then I'm also going to use that, but use a small portion of it. This stuff is very dense and it does go a long way. So very, very small amount will be used there. Get this all put in there. We're going to get this mixed up here real quick and take a look. Getting it all mixed up real nice and good. That's looking good. Let's take a little look at it a little closer once it gets mixed up. Yep, that's kind of the look I'm going for there. Gonna get this popped back in the microwave, heat it back up to temp, and then we will be back to shoot the casings of our core shot. Okay, let's go over what makes a core shot a core shot. First, I just have a standard 5-inch Cinco from Do It molds. Love this mold. I just fabricated some wire. It is 12 gauge wire that I got at my local hardware store. I took a marker, set it down in there, marked it, and snipped it where it needed to be cut. You want to make sure that when you cut these that they are snug from end to end. That way they do not slide back and forth, as you want that wire to go all the way down in there. Next, you want to make sure that when you close your mold that it sits very flush, or else when you go to inject these you will have terrible flashing if your gauging is too high. Let's go ahead and get this done. One other thing I do want to mention is that worm oil is your friend in this instance. You're going to want to oil your rods as it is easier to remove. I use standard worm oil. You can use whatever oil you have laying around. You're also going to want to oil your injector. I just put a couple drops right in the tip there, and that does wonders when it comes to injecting. Okay, our Plastisol is out of the microwave. Gonna need to give this a quick stir before we take a temperature. And then we will just make sure that it is all up to temp before we shoot it. And it's showing 333. Well, that's okay for the casings. So let's go ahead and get these injected. When you do these injections, you want to make sure that you put slight pressure on them, but you do not want to force it, as you will get flashing. Just a little slight pressure is all you need. You will feel it when it is full. When you are done with that, you need to top off the sprues. As this Plastisol cools down, it does shrink. So you have to make sure that you top those sprues off, or else you will have air bubbles in there. We'll put the remainder back in our Pyrex, and then we will wait for it to cool down and see what they look like. Alright, the Plastisol has cooled, so let's pop these open and take a look. First, we got the 5-inch. Let's pop this open and have a look. Very solid, no air bubbles, completely coated. You can see through it and see that wire. Get the top off there. I'm going to clean these tops up real quick before I pull these wires out. Again, you do want to oil those rods. It does make it much easier to remove them. Without it, you are going to stretch and pull, and it is just going to be a difficult time. With the oil, you can see it does come out fairly easy, so you just slide those out on each one. So I'm going to continue to do that with the other 3. 2 down, 2 to go. One more to go. You want to make sure that you're not pushing and pulling on these too much, as they have not hardened all the way. They will still stretch and will deform the bait. Once we get all that done, we're going to put those back in our molds exactly how they came out, nice and easy. When you get these lined up, you may notice that when you go to close your mold that it does not close all the way. That means something is fouled up and you need to reinstall them. Just make sure that you get them all lined up to your best ability. Okay, so I went ahead and heated up a little bit of Plastisol just for our cores. We're going to be doing one of my favorite colors, Chartreuse. I use Lureworks for this as well. So we're going to put a decent amount in there just to make sure that it is not transparent and that it does shine through that clear with that black glitter that we did for the casing. So we're going to get that stirred in and take a look. And that is looking good. We're going to be using a 0.035 Chartreuse also from Lureworks glitter. Going to be using a 1/4 teaspoon for that as well, just like we did the big black flake on the casing. We'll get that mixed up and see if we need to add more or if we think that that's good. And I believe that that looks good. So we're going to get a quick read on it. And it does look like we will need to heat this up a little bit more. So let's pop this back in the microwave and we will take a look when we are done with that. Okay, let's get this Plastisol out of the microwave and get it stirred up and re-temp to see if it is at a good temperature. Looks like it's coming in at about 360, so that is a good temp. Let's go ahead and get this injected. You will need to put a little bit more pressure on these as you are shooting it through that itty bitty hole that we made with that 12 gauge wire. Again, you do want to top off the screws on these as well, just to make sure that you have enough. Then of course, put your excess back in your Pyrex for a later shoot. Okay, these have cooled down. Let's get these clamps off and take a look at our baits. First, we'll do the 5-inch Cinco. Automatically, they already look great. The green has gone tip to tip, just like we had hoped. That chartreuse is contrasting very well to the black flake that we had originally put in the casing. Take a look at the 6-inch bait. Same results. Looks great. If you guys want to see more of these videos, please like, subscribe, comment, and let me know. Or if you have any video suggestions, let me know those as well, and I will be happy to do them. Thanks for tuning in, Toad's Lures. We will see you next time.